Call the meeting to order. Begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
March 3rd, 2021, Board of Commissioners
meeting. Welcome you to the Board of Commissioners meeting, regardless of which means you've taken to join us. This is a public meeting. A record is being kept. It is being broadcast and recorded. So it is public. The first thing we're going to do this morning is awards, recognition, and correspondence. And I'm aware that we have several items. I think, Commissioner Schaefer, you have the first.
I do. And if I can go ahead and read it, Mr. Chair, I will do so at this time.
Yes, please.
It says, hello, George, and other important people who are helping keep Umatilla County alive and well. First of all, I'd like to thank you for your tireless efforts in the health and wellness of our county. I know there are many of you working together hours on end to make sure the residents of Umatilla County are provided with the absolute best of everything you can possibly provide. I'm certain that you're receiving a lot of complaints and possibly even criticism with these duties. So I'm hopeful this note is one that lifts the spirits and keeps you all moving forward with your heads held high. I am due to get my second round of the COVID-19 vaccination this week. I was thankful for just a sore arm after the first dose, and I'm also very grateful for the pop-up clinics you are offering in various locations to get vaccinations from the comfort of our vehicles. I hear the second dose may not be so kind, but I'm still very grateful I'm on the list to receive it. I was hoping to get a Thursday appointment for this round, but didn't jump online quick enough to reserve a time. So I decided to call the Umatilla County Health Department to make sure I was doing the reservation correctly. A joy-filled and very kind voice, Judy, answered the phone, confirming that I indeed was not going to be able to receive my spot on Thursday and would need a Friday appointment. I'm sure she was able to hear the disappointment in my voice, but I understood and told her I was scheduled for Friday. I had every intention of doing this myself, but before I could end the call, she offered to do this for me. She kept in line to make sure I got my confirmation email for the time slot I had chosen, and then asked if there was anything else she could help me with. When I thanked her for assisting in the process, she responded happily that she was just doing her job. If only everyone did their job that well. Before the call ended, she asked if I could spare just a bit more time. I said sure, thinking maybe I could assist with a customer service survey or something of that nature. Are you the Lindsay Murdoch who writes for the paper? I answered with a bit of a chuckle, yes I am. Well, I just wanted to make sure that I thank you for writing and sharing your thoughts and your heart with all of us. I can often relate to what you've written and enjoy your column so much. I said, this is so nice to hear. I don't really know half, even a quarter of the people who read the paper, and sometimes wonder if what I've written has only been enjoyed by my few relatives. So thank you, Judy, for telling me. The phone call ended just a few seconds later, and I went about my day, as I'm sure Judy did as well. It turns out those few minutes were a gift to both of us. Judy, your willingness to help me navigate a site I was unfamiliar with, or probably couldn't figure it out, was such a generous favor. You were kind, personable, and easy to work with. And having you schedule the appointment for me was awesome. Umatilla County Health is so very fortunate to have someone like you on the front lines in dealing with the public. Umatilla County officials and employees, thank you for all you do. I'm cheering you on as you remain positive, optimistic, and helpful through this crazy season of life. You're making it better for so many of us, and I know for certain that you are appreciated more than you may realize. Keep at it, Lindsay Murdoch.
And I think, obviously, Judy Jenner could not be with us this morning, but I hope, Commissioner Schaefer, that you'll share that letter with her. She is a contract tracer working for public health. Do we have other items of recognition?
Yes, Chairman Murdoch, I do have one that was sent to me by Sheriff Rowan from the City of Wilsonville Police Department. If I can, I would like to read this letter into the record.
Certainly.
It was dated City recently conducted a child sex abuse investigation, which led to a suspect residing in Umatilla County. Over the course of approximately 1 week, Detective Calvin Meade assisted our detectives by conducting surveillance at several locations associated with him and helped our investigators plan and execute an arrest search warrant. During this time, Detective Meade was involved in a criminal trial of his own. Although busy himself, he still made time to assist with anything our detectives needed prior to coming to York County. Last week, Detective Corey Alexander and Dan Smith traveled to Umatilla County and executed the arrest search warrant. Detective Meade met them in the early morning hours and conducted surveillance until the suspect was located and arrested. He also arranged to have the suspect transported by Deputy Tristan Walker, set up a location for investigators to interview him, and took care of lodging him after the interview. Everyone, Detectives Alexander and Smith met from the Umatilla County Sheriff's Office, showed extreme professionalism and helpfulness. This investigation would not have been the success it was without the help and hard work of several employees within your office. Detective Alexander and Smith had the opportunity to meet and briefly speak with Under Sheriff Littlefield while in Pendleton. They relayed their thanks to him, but I wanted to make sure it was known how much the help was truly appreciated. Sincerely, Robert Works, Chief of Police in Wilsonville.
Good, thank you. Any other items? Well, thank you. Nice way to get the meeting started. We have minutes from the meeting of February 17th, 2021, and the special meeting of February 23rd, 2021. Do I have a motion for approval or any changes?
I move for approval.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Are there any additions to the agenda?
The only one I was aware of has been added to the agenda already.
Okay. Anybody wish to address the board about something other than that which is on the agenda? All right, let's start through the business items. Item number 1 is jail food services. Thank you, Ed.
I would move for approval of jail food services.
Could you share with us, for the record, what that is about?
I see Sheriff Rowland's on the call, or Under Sheriff Jim Littlefield. Maybe they would like to address this.
I think Captain Hearn's on there.
Captain Hearn may have a few comments.
Oh, great, perfect.
Okay. Captain Thorne Hearn, Umatilla County Sheriff's Office. I've been in contact with some of the other jail commanders throughout the state, and I found out that we're paying about 20 to 30 cents per meal more than the average. And we've been with Airmark for a number of years, but it seems like it's just time to maybe get some competition, get some better pricing for the jail.
What I'm reading here shows since 1999, 22 years, is that correct?
That is correct.
Good. All right. Now, Commissioner Dorn.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. Sure.
We have your motion, correct?
Yes, I would move to accept this proposal from the Sheriff's Office and ask them to move forward.
Is there a second?
I would second that.
Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you much.
Thank you.
All right, the second item on the agenda is an emergency declaration extension. Counsel, would you read what that encompasses?
Okay, almost a year ago, the Board of Commissioners first adopted a declaration of emergency in Umatilla County due to the COVID pandemic. Since that period of time, it has been continued a number of times, and it's currently now set to expire on March 6th. This is somewhat different than the declaration that has been continued by the governor for the state of Oregon. This is primarily for internal purposes for the county and its business practices. What we use this for is to allow for emergency procurement and staffing issues that could not wait until a board meeting. And so with these powers, the board has continued to have some flexibility in responding to the emergency. And so the proposal again is to continue this for a period of time, I believe 63 days to the first meeting in May.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
I would move to approve order number BCC 2021019.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any other questions? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right, the third item on the agenda is a resolution with regard to restaurants. I will read that. This is order number BCC 2021-020. Whereas one of our greatest concerns during the past 11 months of COVID-19 pandemic has been the tremendous toll closures have taken on small businesses, but most notably our restaurants. Whereas we have tried to keep in constant contact with our restaurant owners throughout the pandemic and provide what support we could through both our personal patronage and extensive grants that have helped with some of their expenses. But in many cases, our restaurants saw revenues fall by 80 to 90%. Whereas we have also aggressively pursued initiatives with the Governor's Office and the Oregon Health Authority on behalf of reopening. Whereas we are proud of the restaurants that exist in Umatilla County and fully recognize the critical role they play not just as part of our business community, but as social centers and tourist attractions. And whereas we have made every effort to access takeout options and tried finding ways to utilize their services, now therefore the Umatilla County Board of Commissioners orders and resolves that now we as commissioners look forward to helping lead the parade back to inside dining, while at the same time realizing our work will not be done until we enjoy 100% occupancy, and that we will continue our efforts to support our restaurants and enable them to open at full capacity. Is there a move for adoption?
Mr. Chair, I move adoption of BCC 2021-020.
I would second that motion and look forward to lunch today downtown.
All right. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Item number 4 is an IT payable.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dan Lanai, Director of Administrative Services. Reporting of payable to Dell Marketing for $5,973.81. It is for the maintenance on our servers for a year, our main servers at the courthouse that basically run everything. It's our server farm. And we bought these servers 5 years ago, and at the time we paid for 5 years in advance maintenance on those, and that has expired. And because it was not a contract, we needed board approval since it's over $5,000 for that. But if we needed to keep everything running, we need to maintain those systems and continue to pay maintenance on those.
I would move for approval for the Dell payment of warranty, and I'm assuming for $5,975 or $5,973.81. But I do have discussion after the second.
I would second.
Okay, all in favor?
Chairman, a little bit of discussion.
Sure.
So Dan, is this for an additional 5 years? And then the second part of the question is, how much warranty claim do you know, if you know, was submitted during the first 5 years?
Well, on this, Commissioner Doran, it's just a 1-year extension. So as the servers get older, they're 5 years old now. We have in the budget for next year, the plan is to replace those. They're the ones that run basically every system, the tax system, the financial system, planning, everything that we have that the courthouse uses. And most of the county, with the exception of the records management system at the jail, runs on these servers here. And so they're mission critical, so if they do go down, we will lose business in a sense. We can't do anything if those are down. So it's important to maintain those and keep them up. Have we had to replace anything with them? No. I think if I go back when we first got it, I think we had to replace a big card. In reality, the amount of stuff we had to replace, probably only a few $100s, I would imagine. But they're mission critical. If they go down, we can't afford to keep those down. So we do. It's an insurance policy in a sense.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Dan. Thank you for the follow-up.
Right.
Okay. I believe we have a motion and a second.
Yes.
All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The next two items belong to Robert Walder.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bob Walder, County Planning Director. The first item before you is an update to the Planning Commission bylaws. These bylaws haven't been updated for over 40 years, and so we did a little housekeeping on them. Nothing too drastic, but just a few changes to bring them up to date. Our Planning Commission now meets monthly, usually the fourth Thursday of the month, so that was one of the major changes in that. The Planning Commission reviewed these proposed changes at their hearing on February 25th and recommended approval by the Board of Commissioners.
Mr. Chair, I'd move approval.
I would
BCC,
second that.
this is BCC 2021-021. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
No, that is for the next item.
Oh, pardon me. Pardon me, I was getting ahead of myself here. Let me go back. It is not. The next one. The next one is BCC 2021-021. Sorry. All right.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Murdoch. Are you ready for me to begin with that?
Yes.
presentation?
Yes.
Okay. This is for appointment to fill a planning commission vacancy. This position was vacated by Gary Reinhardt a couple months ago, and we received an application from an interested candidate, Cindy Timmons. We reviewed her application and completed a brief interview with her, and Planning Department recommendation is to appoint her to the Planning Commission for a 4-year term that would go through March 2025.
All right. This is BCC 2021-021. Is there a motion to approve?
Being familiar with Cindy Timmons, I think she'll be a fine addition to the planning commission, and I move approval.
I would second that wholeheartedly.
Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, Bob. Item number 7, Robert. These are budget transfers.
Good morning, Commissioners. There are 5 budget transfers to consider this morning. First is Budget Order 2021-26, General Fund Board of Commissioners. Requires a transfer or appropriation of appropriate funding not known as adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in personnel services of $40,000 and a decrease in contingency of $40,000. Next is Budget Order 2021-27, General Fund Criminal Program, and it requires a transfer of appropriation to appropriate funding not known as adoption of the budget. And this requires an increase in capital outlay of $6,000 and a decrease in contingency of $6,000. Next is Budget Order 2021-28, General Fund Emergency Management.
Human Services, the Alcohol and Mental Health Tax Program requires a transfer appropriation to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in personnel services of $5,000 and a decrease in contingency of $5,000. Are there any questions?
Commissioners,
I
any?
would move for adoption of Budget Order 2021-26, budget transfers, and I'd also like to thank Robert Paul for walking through these with me and spending the time to explain them.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. All right. Budget Order 2021-27.
Mr. Chairman, approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All right. Budget Order 2021-27. Is that right?
28. Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. So which one are we on? 21, 20, 29? Okay. Budget Order 2021-29.
Second.
Approval.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. And Budget Order 2021-30. Is there a motion?
Approval.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Robert. Okay, the final item on our agenda is a document that has been shared with the commissioners in advance. I've been provided with information by our Director of Public Health, Joe Fiamara, that after several weeks as the second to the lowest county in the state of Oregon in terms of per capita vaccinations, last week we have dropped to last in the state in terms of per capita vaccinations. This is not an issue of capacity by the county to administer vaccinations. We could administer way more vaccinations than we're able to give at this time, but it continues to be a major problem with the county being supplied with adequate doses in order to keep up. We are now at 960 doses per 100,000 residents. As I indicated, that is at the bottom of the state statistics. At a time in Oregon when we are trying to address the subject of equity, this is an embarrassing contradiction. We are one of the most diverse counties in Oregon, and yet we are not being given any consideration in terms of the vaccines that are being provided to the county. In addition, as everyone knows, we've had a high rate of infection, and we have a disproportionate number of residents who are both impacted by coronavirus and who in a daily basis are working on the front lines and are exposed. So this is the proposal. This is a two-page document that would be shared with the Office of the Governor, and a belief on our part that this represents discrimination and inequities in vaccine allocations from the state of Oregon to Umatilla County. This would be sent this afternoon. It would also go to our legislators who are in Salem in some hope that we will be provided with a sufficient allocation of vaccines to do what we need to do on behalf of our citizens. Is there a motion for adoption?
Go ahead, Dan.
I move for adoption strongly. I think this is a well-written letter. I think that if I'll go ahead. I'll have discussion after the second. Sorry.
Well, I will second it, but I also want to say that I noticed that we also are sending it to both Mount Airy and Morrow County as well. I believe they're in the same boat as Umatilla County, and this is just atrocious, and this needs to be addressed immediately, in my opinion. So I think this is very timely.
I agree, Commissioner Schaefer, and as I've always mentioned, if you look at Polk County, who has a very similar population count to Umatilla County, it's not only atrocious, it should be embarrassing for the governor to have to defend it.
Agreed.
Yeah, there is absolutely no correlation between the presence of diversity in the county and the allocation of vaccines. That was called out actually by OHA several weeks ago as being an issue, but there's been absolutely nothing done that would address that particular situation. So, any other comments? All in favor say aye.
When we get it in the mail, the sooner the better.
Well, I didn't hear that.
I just said the sooner we can get it in the mail, the better.
Yes, it'll be in the mail in a matter of minutes. So, all right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. Comments from commissioners?
Actually, Mr. Chair, if I could, I noticed the sheriff put in the chat that he will want a few minutes to address the board.
All right. That's fine.
Mr. Chair, if you can hear me okay, I'll proceed. I just wanted to express my Undersheriff Captain Primmer's sincere appreciation for Commissioner Schaefer and his stepping up to help us out in our dispatch center. As many folks know, we've been experiencing a staffing crisis for some time now, and although we have been moving ahead with hiring personnel, there's a considerable amount of training that's involved in taking them from hire to become that solo resource. Commissioner Schaefer, put his dispatch hat back on for a little bit and is due to continue that over the next period of time as we try to get our staff up to adequate levels. And so, John, I sincerely appreciate you and all your efforts and your willingness to come back and help us out. That shows a tremendous amount of intestinal fortitude, I guess you could say. And it just shows that the county is one family, one team, and again, I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Sheriff Rowland.
It was nice to do that with open arms. I offered my services, just quite certain that Captain Primmer was going to shove me right out the door. To my surprise, she gave me a headset and a hug. So it was, I'm enjoying it.
Well, Commissioner Doran and I would like to thank Commissioner Schaefer also and reaffirm his continued availability should you need to call upon him. So, any other comments from commissioners or anyone else?
I think everybody just made the comments that I was going to make. Thank you, Commissioner Schaefer, for everything. I dropped off cookies the other day to the dispatchers, and they were extremely happy to have you there. So, thank you.
Well, I may have sampled one or two of those cookies.
I'm sure you represented us well in that department. Any other comments? All right. Meeting's adjourned.